for joining us today for today's 30 on Thursday. This is our first one since taking a little hiatus over the summer. So we appreciate you guys taking the time to join us and listen to today's speaker. We're excited to be joined today by Andy who is the program manager for the Focus on Energy program. The new home offering was created 20 years ago with the purpose of helping builders construct homes that are more energy efficient, comfortable, durable, and safer than homes that are merely built to code. Over this time, Focus on Energy has trained over 1,300 builders, 115 building science professionals, and more than 21,000 contractors. Andy's going to go into more detail about the program and how you can benefit from it. Just a little housekeeping item first. If you have any questions for him throughout his presentation, just type it into the question or chat box or use the raise hand feature. And once we get to the Q&A portion at the end, I can unmute you and we can go over questions, which will be saved for about the last 10 minutes or so of this time. So at this point, I'll turn it over to you, Andy.
Thank you, Lisa.
You bet.
Swap my screen here. Okay, can you see my screen? Everything looking good?
Looks good.
Okay. Thanks everyone for taking the time to attend today's presentation. Lisa mentioned my name's Andy. I'm the program manager for the Focus on Energy New Home Certification offering. I've been in this position for 12 years, but the program's been around since 1999 and actually predates that by a little bit through a pilot program. So let's talk about what the agenda is today. I'm going to explain to you what Focus on Energy is, and then specifically get into some high-level detail regarding the Focus on Energy New Home Certification offering. For those of you who don't know, Focus on Energy is Wisconsin's statewide energy efficiency and renewable energy program. And what Focus on Energy does, it helps residents and businesses to implement energy efficiency and renewable energy projects. Focus on Energy provides financial incentives, education, trainings, and other resources to encourage energy conservation. And Focus on Energy is funded by investor-owned utilities and municipal and cooperative utilities. That's probably the number one question I get when I'm speaking and talking to homeowners is, how is Focus on Energy funded? So how that works is if you're paying an energy bill, gas or electric, or gas and electric, to someone like MG&E, Alliant, We Energies, Xcel Energy, 1.2% approximately of your energy bill goes into fund Focus on Energy. And Focus on Energy has programs, both residential and commercial, that repays those incentives back out into the ratepayers for actually implementing energy efficiency projects, systems, and measures. The mission that we have for the Focus on Energy New Home Certification offering, it can be summed up in just one sentence. What we do is we help builders and home buyers build the safest, most comfortable, durable, high quality, energy efficient home that works within their budget. And we can help homeowners and builders take a home that is at least 25% more efficient than what current Wisconsin Uniform Dwelling Code requires, all the way to a home that is produces as much energy on site through renewable energy to satisfy the energy load of the building. So here's how the process works. As I mentioned, we've been working with builders for 20 years, myself for 12, and thanks to the mentorship by our program's technical director, Joe Nagan, he's helped me understand how builders work and think. And there's three things that we know or understand to be the three things that builders hate the most. Number one is a customer callback. Number two is paperwork. And number three is being told what to do. So we don't ask builders to do any paperwork. The building performance consultant that you're going to work with or could work with takes care of all of that. There's just one thing you got to do, that's fill out an online application. It takes about 10 or 15 minutes, and that just gets you in the system so we can pay you the incentives. All builders that are associated with Focus on Energy New Home Certification offering must work with a building performance consultant associated with the program. I'll explain what they do here in the next couple of slides. You get to the process of building framing and insulating the home. But before drywall is installed, we like to conduct our first site visit. That's where the building performance consultant will come out to the job site and verify that the home is on track to meet the one singular requirement, and then see if it's on track to follow the 9 other recommendations that we have for more energy efficiency, safety, comfort, and durability. The finished construction, the building performance consultant will come back and conduct the final site visit, and we'll do some performance testing and final verification at that point. The home is certified. What that means is the building performance consultant is going to send us everything that they need to send to us to verify that the home meets the program's requirement and recommendations. And then we will process the payment, the certification for the builder. The incentives from the program are paid to the builder of the home. Incentives are paid to the builder of home. So let's get into a little bit more detail about the building performance consultants, who they are and what they do. The people that we're asking to work with are highly qualified, highly trained, and very well supported. Every one of them is Residential Energy Services Network, or ResNet, accredited. They have to be to participate in the program. Some of them are also or have been Building Performance Institute, or BPI, accredited. Both of those accreditations are based on the principles of building science. So these accreditations are very deep into how buildings work, mostly how air, heat, and moisture move through the building, and when they're not managed properly, some of the things that they can cause. So usually it's a moisture event of some sort related to just moisture or mold, mildew, and rot. I have or had both of those accreditations. I'm no longer active in my current role with those accreditations, but I can tell you, I'd rather stick needles in my eyes than go through the ResNet exam again. It's intense. It's a week-long training and testing, and then there's another week of field testing. It's intense. I'd rather stick needles in my eyes, like I said, to go through that again. And I share that with you because I want you to understand that the folks that we're asking you to work with is not just someone who's taken an online course one day and out working with builders the next day. That is not how this works. They are very highly trained and educated, and they're very well supported by our technical director, Joe Nagan, who is arguably one of the most influential building science professionals in North America. Each one of these businesses, they're all independent business folks. So we kind of get rid of the conflict of interest issue with our raters that are out in the field. They all have to go through 1 year of mentoring, but that's not where it stops. We're mentoring them constantly, almost on every job site. If a building performance runs into a situation with a builder that they don't understand, they can always rely on our technical director to come out and help the builder fix the issue. As I mentioned, the training is ongoing. And the thing here, we want to make sure everyone understands, the incentives that are paid by the program are paid to the builder. The builder pays the building performance consultant for their services. Because they are independent business folks, the program doesn't have any influence on what their incentives are. But I'll give you an example of how that works here in another slide or two. The building performance consultants use an energy modeling software called REMRate. It's a very sophisticated and powerful energy modeling software. And here are just some of the things that it can do. It provides the calculations to determine the percent better than code value, which determines the incentives that each home will be available for. We do have a $4,000 max on the incentives that are payable to the builder. REMRate can also provide the documentation to confirm energy code compliance with the UDC current energy code. And the process, it's as simple as the building performance consultant printing a separate report for you. Nothing more needs to be done. REMRate can be used as a design tool. And what I mean by that is one of the first things that the building performance consultant is going to do is ask a new builder for a set of plans. They'll take those plans and enter characteristics of the building into the software. Square footages, surface areas, R values, U values, efficiencies of the mechanical equipment. Hundreds of data points go into the software, and we can show you and or your customer how energy efficient the home is based on the plans. Then we can use the software as a design tool. What happens if we put R60 in the attic? What happens if we put R10 on the exterior foundation? What happens if we put R13 on the interior of the foundation? Or what happens if we go with triple pane windows? We can enter those different things into the software and show with a high degree of accuracy how energy efficient that home will be when it's completed. And we can fine tune the design at the wishes of both the builder and the homeowner. REMRate has very robust reporting capabilities. We can provide a variety of different reports that dissect the energy efficiency and operating costs of the building. REMRate also produces the piece of paper, the document that the IRS requires to demonstrate compliance with the federal $2,000 per home tax credit. You have to conduct an energy rating to get that piece of documentation, and that's the exact process we follow. REMRate can also produce heat loss calculations and equipment sizing. Most folks probably are accustomed to using ResCheck. REMRate's a little bit more powerful and a little bit more forgiving because REMRate includes the efficiency of the mechanical equipment where ResCheck does not. So let's talk a little bit about what the building performance consultants do on site. After the framing is complete, before drywall is installed, we like to conduct our first site visit. The building performance consultant is going to visit the site and just review the progress of everything. How are we doing relative to meeting the one singular requirement for the program, the home being 25% better than code? They're also going to review the progress and process based on the other recommendations that we have. And they're also going to review based on their experience other things that they might have run across that are not required by the program, but things that they've seen in other homes and other builders that have led to a customer callback. They're going to produce a report for the builder after that first site visit, within 24 hours, and they'll present the builder with that report. This program is voluntary. Builders don't have to do anything. We are here to be a trusted resource to help builders build better, more energy efficient homes. So that report goes to the builder looks at it, and let's just say there's an issue with window flashing, and it's in the report. The consultant said, hey, this window flashing here is not right, not a program requirement, but here's what it should look like. And the builder has a choice, do I fix it or not? If they choose not to, it could be an issue that could be something that would lead to a customer callback, the number one things builders hate the most. And that's part of the value that the program brings to the builder's business, is being able to identify those things that could be contentious later on. At the final site visit, they're going to do a blower door test to determine the air tightness of the building. We're also going to test the ventilation capacity for whole house ventilation and spot ventilation. And then the final verification of the building performance consultant, wrapping all that up in a documentation that they are required to submit to us for us to process the payment for the builder. Take a quick look at the requirements. As I mentioned, we have one singular requirement to get in the program, and that's a home that's at least 25% more efficient than the current Wisconsin Uniform Dwelling Code. What REMRate is doing, it's taking the as-built home and comparing to that very same home if it were merely built to code. We look at the energy consumption of each, and we convert that to a percentage. And that's a percent better than code. And that is meaningful because it determines the level of incentives, but it also demonstrates or categorizes the home as it relates to the levels of certification that we have, and we'll look at those in just a minute. There are 10 recommendations. I'm only going to talk about 2 because we just have a little bit limited amount of time. So I'm going to talk about the 2 most important. Air tightness. This is a recommendation, highly recommended. We have a recommendation of an air tightness value of 0.20 cubic feet per minute of leakage when the house is depressurized to minus 50 pascals. This is a fairly aggressive air tightness limit. Air tightness is arguably the most influential component of a home's energy efficiency, and it is also the least expensive to achieve. It really just boils down to quality and craftsmanship and using the appropriate material, spray foam, caulk, in the appropriate places. When you have a more airtight home, ventilation, whole house ventilation is important. So we have a recommendation for mechanical ventilation ducted to the outdoors and is compliant with ASHRAE 62.2 2010, a national standard. We're going to test that whole house ventilation to make sure it meets that standard. Again, this is not a requirement, it's a recommendation. If you want to avoid issues with indoor air quality, specifically moisture issues, you're going to want to make sure that your whole house ventilation at least meets this requirement. There are federal tax credits that are available, as I mentioned earlier. It's a $2,000 builder tax credit that builders are eligible for each home that they build. I'm not a tax professional. I don't even like to go into that sandbox because things change frequently and it's inherently complicated to understand. But please know that the REM rate is going to be able to prepare the document or print the document, provide the document that a builder would need to present to their tax professional to file for that tax credit. That tax credit, again, goes to the builder. There are also federal tax credit for renewable energy systems, solar photovoltaics, and geothermal heat pumps at 26% of the installed cost. And those incentives for the renewable energy are set to sunset here, I think, next year. So unless something changes, they will no longer be available for next year. And those two renewable energy incentives are paid to the homeowner. So why do builders participate in Focus on Energy program? We currently work with just about 200 different builders in Wisconsin. All of the biggest builders in the state participate in the program. And again, working with builders for myself 12 years and our counterpart, our technical director for more than 20 years, we pretty much know that builders won't do anything if they don't find value in it. And the builders that participate in the program, the biggest builders and the 150 to 200 that do participate in the program, find value. And that value isn't necessarily solely based on the incentives that we're paying the builders. It's the risk management that's baked into the program's design, that the builder works with a building science professional from the start of the process to the end of the process. They're going to be able to identify things and bring things to the builder's attention that could otherwise lead to a customer callback, the number one thing that builders hate the most. And it's a business differentiator. As a program manager, I take all the calls myself. They don't go to a call center. They're directed to me so I can explain to homeowners the program in great deal without sending them to a website that they might not be able to navigate that well. So I'll just give you my elevator speech that I normally give to a homeowner that I talk to, again, approximately a couple hundred per year. And typically a homeowner is looking at more than one builder. Maybe they're looking at three. And let's just say one of those three is a builder that participates in the Focus on Energy program. That builder can look across the table or virtually and look at that homeowner and I and tell them that, hey, I build a better home. And I can verify and quantify that because the homes that I build are built to the Focus on Energy program requirements, which requires me to work with a building science professional from the start of the process to the end of the process to verify that my homes meet a higher level of standard. And that resonates very deeply with home buyers. So builders that don't participate in the program can't offer any of these things. And that's a very large business differentiator. When I talk to those 200 or so homeowners, I only send them to one place to find a builder, and that's the Focus on Energy website that lists all the builder participants on the website for the homeowners to be able to select a builder from. As I mentioned, we offer incentives for the program. The incentive budget that I'm working with in 2021, is $2 million. So $2 million is going to be paid to builders that participate in the program in 2021. That incentive value of $2 million will most likely go up a little bit in 2022, so we can reach even more builders. The incentives are based on 4 levels of certification. REM rate's going to dictate or determine the levels of certification based on the explanation that I gave to you earlier, comparing the as-built home to the home if it merely built to code. For level 1, a home that's 25 to 29% better than code, more efficient than code, the incentive is 0, but we'll certify the home. All certified homes, the builder is sent a certificate and a report verifying that home that has in fact been certified in the program, and the report showed some metrics, energy savings, and a couple other different things that the homeowner might find valuable. Level 2, a home that's 30 to 34.9% better than code. These are averages under the gas and electric heat. Those average incentives right now are north of $500 for level 2. For level 3, a home that's 35 to 39.9% better than code. Those incentives right now are averaging somewhere around $1,200. And for level 4, a home that's 40% or to 100% better than code is just about $1,900 right now. So those are the incentives. We have a separate incentive for propane heat. Those are fixed incentives. The incentives for gas and electric are variable. What I mean by that is the more energy efficient the home, the larger the incentives. So again, the averages that are coming in for these are as dictated here. And we have a maximum on the incentives at $4,000. So we can kind of preserve that $2 million incentive budget and get more buying power out of it. We also have some bonus incentives that are available for a 98% furnace, a heat pump water heater, and R5 exterior above grade wall insulation. The heat pump water heater incentive is a game changer because it dramatically increases the energy efficiency of the home. If you remember, the more energy efficient the home, the larger the incentive. So the incentives that we're looking at here are in addition to the incentives that we just looked at the previous slide. So the more energy efficient home, the larger the incentive. With the heat pump water heater, the installed cost of a heat pump water heater versus a gas power vented water heater are just about zero. So there's no increased cost to the builder, but the incentives go up significantly for a heat pump water heater. To get started in the program, there's a template email that I have that has links to this information, so you don't have to fart around trying to navigate through a complicated website. So we want to make this as easy and transparent as possible for you. So first thing you do is choose a building performance consultant. There's a link to do that on the template email that I have. You can call more than one. I'd recommend that you call 3. Pick the one you like the best. There's an online builder portal that will allow you access to information regarding the homes that you have certified. The online trade ally application is the only piece of paperwork that you'll have to fill out. And to get things started, the BPC, the building performance consultant, will do a based on plans assessment to kind of see where that home is relative to the energy savings and incentive potential. So here's my contact information. Maybe you can do a screen capture here and save it for yourself. Please give me a call and I can answer any other questions that we can't answer in the next 9 minutes, and look forward to hearing from you. So we'll open it up for questions.
Thanks, Andy. Like Andy said, if you have a question, feel free to do the raise hand feature. Type your question into the question and answer or chat portion of the bottom of your Zoom screen. And then also just to let everybody know, I'll be sending out, we're recording this presentation, so I'll send this out once it's kind of edited a little bit, so that you guys will have this presentation again to refer back to, and I will also include Andy's contact information. And Andy, if I can get from you those getting started documents or links, I will include that in the email as well. So I will send that out within the next week. But in the meantime, does anybody have any questions for Andy? Andy, I have a question for you. How many new builders do you see enter the program on any given year?
That's a tough one to answer. Right now, we just checked this the other day. There's like 10 new builders joined the program this year.
Okay.
We don't always know when the builder, we don't immediately know when a builder joins. We have to do some kind of in-depth comparison of the thousands of trade allies that we have for all of Focus on Energy compared to what we had last year compared to this year. It's a laborious process to determine how many builders have joined, but we can do it.
Great. I really don't see any questions. So I think we'll probably just wrap this up, but if you have questions, again, I'll send out Andy's contact information and the copy of this video and those getting started documents for the next week, and feel free to reach out to him if you do think of any questions over the next couple of weeks or however long you're looking at things. So thank you very much, Andy, for your time, and thanks to everybody who joined us. And again, you can stay tuned to your email, and I'll be sending this out again in the next week. So thank you.
Thank you, everyone.